Hey everyone, Andrew here, bringing you another video review. Today we're going to be doing another retro review, and that will be of the Savage She-Hulk, issue number 1. Now, a lot of people probably don't know this, but She-Hulk's one of my favorite Marvel characters. I like her more than I like the Hulk. I think it's just because, for me, personally, there's more of a character there than there is with the Hulk. Don't get me wrong, I understand the Hulk. I understand the concept of the Hulk between Bruce Banner and the Hulk and what the character's about roaming around and trying to find a cure and, smash big blow up stuff and everything that comes with the internal struggle with Bruce Banner being the Hulk and having to struggle between this monster that lives inside him and all the other dynamics that go with the Hulk. I understand that. I just like She-Hulk better. I think it's because She-Hulk is one of those Marvel females that I can actually look to and be like, right there, that is the strong female character that Marvel needs. See, the one thing I say is that there's a lot of comparisons you can do between Marvel and DC when it comes down to what the companies are different in. You can say it's in how realistic Marvel is as opposed to how DC embraces its comic book heritage, or how you can relate to characters in Marvel and how you look up to characters in DC. None of this is wrong by any means. One of the things that I use to compare Marvel as DC is Marvel is more of a team up company. There's a lot of team up books. X-Men, Avengers, X-Force, and now we're getting like A plus X, Uncanny Avengers, and Secret Avengers, and all this other stuff. DC has its team ups, but it has more female characters than Marvel. It has Wonder Woman, Batgirl, Batwoman. It has the Birds of Prey, which is a whole entire female team, and they also have Star Sapphire. They have a lot of strong female characters that can stand out on their own. Harley Quinn stars in and pretty much is the lead in Suicide Squad. And there is more female characters like Catwoman and Supergirl. I could go on and on. With Marvel, because they're such a team up company, I find that a lot of their great female characters, like say Storm or Jean Grey or Captain Marvel, who is now Captain Marvel, was originally Ms. Marvel, tend to be on teams. Spider Woman, so on and so forth. Ms. Marvel, or Captain Marvel as she's now called, is a one of the examples of Marvel having a strong female character that can be on her own. The other one that I think is another strong female character Marvel can have on their own is She-Hulk. And that's because I think She-Hulk as a character is that strong female character done right. A lot of things that are done in Hollywood and in comic books that they do wrong when it comes down to making that strong female character is they just make a male character female. They will take basically a character that is female and treat them as a male. They make them all guns a shooting and I'm super strong and kick some ass and take some names and almost makes them borderline sociopaths, not having an emotion or feeling. But see, when a character has that emotion and has that feeling and responds in a certain way, that is a strong female character. Take Barbara Gordon, for instance. Barbara Gordon is a very emotional character. She's dealing with the fact that she was once paralyzed from the legs down. She is unsure about what she wants to do. But just because she has that uncertainty and that sense of fear doesn't make her any less of a strong female character. That's another thing that I will jump into slightly is fear is not necessarily the voidness of having courage is not the voidness of having fear. It's the ability to overcome fear. You can have a character be like, fuck this shit, I'm just gonna go in there guns a blazing, or you can have a character go in and be like, I'm scared shitless and overcome that fear. And that is what true courage is. And then you get characters that just, with females that just stand there and they're like guns are shooting and badass. A character, for example, that I really don't care about that a lot of people like, and I'm gonna get flacked for a lot of this, is Psylocke. Psylocke feels like one of those characters. She kind of feels more like a guy than she does a girl. A guy female character rather than a strong independent female character. Now, I could just be spouting shit out of my mouth right now because, again, I haven't read enough of X-Men or X-Force or anything Psylocke has been on. But from an outsider's perspective, that's what I see. She-Hulk, like I said, is one of those strong female characters. She's smart. She's independent. She is also unique to her cousin, where being in the She-Hulk form, she retains her intelligence and she retains her personality, where 9 out of 10 times Hulk turns into something completely different. The Hulk personality and Bruce Banner are completely separate characters. She-Hulk and Jennifer Walters are the same character. They're just a different body. And a lot of people can say, well, this was this story where the Hulk did retain his intelligence or where he retained his personality. That's fine and good. But like I said, 9 out of 10 times, the Hulk is a different character from Bruce Banner, which is fine. If you're into that, that's cool. But I like the perception of She-Hulk. Now, there's a lot of different She-Hulk series out there. There's, I think, been four. There's like, She-Hulk, Sensational She-Hulk, and then Savage She-Hulk, and various other ones from here to here and there. And She-Hulk is one of the reasons why I'm actually going to be picking up FF. I just like She-Hulk. I liked her on the Fantastic Four. I thought she was better on the Fantastic Four than Thing was. Blasphemy. But originally, I was going to pick up just the first few issues of FF because it was going to tie into Fantastic Four. But because I realized She-Hulk was on it, I'm like, I'm going to get that. I'm actually more excited for FF than Fantastic Four now because She-Hulk is on it. And one of the comics that I really wanted to get was Savage She-Hulk issue number 1. Not because it may necessarily be the best of the She-Hulk series. No, actually, that's not the case. I think the John Byrne series is usually considered one of the better ones, which I will be picking up at some point. But it's because it's the first appearance of She-Hulk in her first series. This is where it all started for She-Hulk. So, seeing that I like She-Hulk so much, and this is a retro review, might as well jump into the Savage She-Hulk issue number 1. This story is a very basic story, but a story nonetheless that serves its purpose in telling who She-Hulk is. Basically, Bruce Banner is on the run from the law because he's a Hulk, smash, big, kick-ass, kind of, does what he does. Everyone wants to take him out. The police, the feds, the government, everyone. So he's on the run, and he goes to the one person he can trust, his cousin, Jen. Jen Walters is her full name, or Jennifer Walters, but I'll just call her Jenny. So, anyways, Jenny is helping out Bruce Banner, but see, being a lawyer and she's a very intellectual woman, she does kind of cross paths and tickle the wrong people the wrong way, and this causes a hit to be put on her. She is shot, gravely injured, and is nursed back to health by Bruce Banner. But the problem is she's run low on blood, and a blood transfusion needs to be made. With very little time, Bruce Banner, who has the same blood type as Jennifer, decides to transfer his blood into her. Of course, if we all know, radioactive or gamma radiation blood is not something you want to share. I mean, needles, you don't want to share needles, and you don't want to share gamma radiation blood. And of course, this has an adverse effect on Jen. So, like the Hulk, when she gets overly emotional, she turns into this beast, the She-Hulk. Now, unlike the Hulk, she retains her personality and she also retains her intelligence too. Now, originally, She-Hulk was able to transfer back and forth between the two different bodies. I think at some point in her history, she is permanently She-Hulk, but recently she now has the power to transfer back and forth again. Again, this is just stuff that I've researched online or I talked with people about, so I could be wrong about this. But that's the basic story of She-Hulk in a nutshell, is that she is shot, wounded, blood transfusion, becomes a She-Hulk, kicks ass, takes names, and there's not that many names left to take. So there's only asses to kick. On a whole, Savage She-Hulk was a pretty good origin story. If I can make a comparison to the Wolverine issue number 1 that I reviewed maybe a day or two ago, is that they did exactly what both issues needed to do. They told a story, they gave us a definition of the person's power. It was a great jump on point for anyone who's never read anything about Hulk at all, let alone She-Hulk. And it does a nice job at bringing the character to us. The only problem and the only thing that is different from this towards the Wolverine issue is just that this suffers from the cheesiness that was, I believe, 1980 that this comes out. Putting that aside, I still enjoyed this, and I would give it a 4 out of 5 for what it was. and I did like She-Hulk in this, and I do want to read more She-Hulk. Actually, I'm going to work today, and I might pick up some of the John Byrne She-Hulk stuff, or maybe the other She-Hulk stuff that came out recently in the early 2000s or mid 2000s or whatever. Because I like She-Hulk. I think she's cool. So yes, the Savage She-Hulk issue #1. If you get your chance to find it, it would be a nice good read. If not, get it in trade. She-Hulk's a fun character. This is Andrew saying, peace out for now.